Welcome back to Querer es Poder. Where there's a will, there's a way. Our show is about inspiring, educating, and motivating young and not so young people here in Santa Clarita. And today's show is brought to you by Carlos Villalobos Insurance. And he provides quick and risk. Did I say it right?
Risk.
I don't feel it.
Yeah.
Just say it risk.
Risk protection. Risk.
Okay, exactly.
Yeah.
With for health.
I help
and
you
life
with
insurance.
English. I help you with English. You help me with Spanish.
Exactly.
It works
I can
out.
say it in Spanish.
We're like a team.
and I can do Spanglish if you'd like.
Okay. And Eddie's helping us here. You know, I like that you are like, okay, I have a solution here. So that's what are you doing right now with election too? I have the solutions here.
Well, in Spanish, my Spanish is leaves something to be desired, but I can say, me llamo Eduardo Errington, necesito votar 6 de noviembre.
6th of November, Election Day.
Yeah, my wife, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but embarrassing to me, she speaks about 5 different languages. And I'm proficient in English and a little bit of Spanglish, but that's about it.
Good.
Spanglish.
Good.
Well, you know enough.
Claro.
So tell us, Ed, why are you running for state assembly?
Sure. Well, the long answer is I became a dad last year. And I just kind of everything changed for me. And I just felt like our leaders in Sacramento were not moving with the sense of urgency that I would like to see. And with Cameron stepping down and looking at who was running, I just felt that that wasn't what the state needs right now. You know, we have all this partisan bickering. We have this toxic dysfunction up there. And it's just unacceptable for me. As a businessman, I know how to get things done. I've worked with folks like Dick Reardon and others who they set partisanship aside, said, let's do good for the community. Let's figure out how to solve this and let the ideologues, bark from the right and the left, but let's focus on solutions, often from the middle. And that's kind of where I'm at, is, I was a Republican in my 20s and teens, and became declined to state and been a Democrat since the Clinton administration. And so, I'm not a reflexive type of person. I like to look at the merits of the argument. I like to look at the issues. We've got some big ones facing us here in the state of California, and I think we need folks that are going to be relevant, that will have impact, and are not, the kind of folks that are just going to be part of the status quo.
The state is in what I would call dire financial strait. Mm-hmm. That's my assessment. I'm not a financial guy. I'm not a politician. I'm not a government guy, but I know what taxes I have to pay. I know what services I get to use. Mm-hmm. By all indications, the state is in financial trouble.
All right.
How can we get out of financial trouble?
Well, I think there's some short-term solutions and I think some long-term solutions. At the heart of the issue, I think there's a leadership deficit. I don't think we have enough leaders up there who are thinking about the people of California. I think a lot of them think about themselves and their future, and they're afraid to make the tough choices in terms of the budget, in terms of some of the issues on how we run the state and govern the state. So I think at the very least, we need to elect folks in November that are going to get things done. Not lobbyists that can do backroom deals that won't get anything done, but actually people that are willing to get things done. And on the long term, I think there are a number of solutions that you can work towards. So you can do things like creating a rainy day budget that will help, create some fiscal sanity. Something like PayGo that says, if you're going to cost this much to the state, $25 million or so, you're going to identify how you're going to pay for it. And there are sunset clauses on certain things, on taxation issues. You can look at performance-based budgeting, which basically changes the formula from, automatic increase every year to actually identifying, does this work or does this not work? And there's also things like 2-year budgeting that you can work towards to say, look, this 1-year cycle is not working. We need to expand it a little bit, because every time we pass these budgets, then we say if the tax doesn't come in or the revenue doesn't come in, then we have these trigger cuts, and it's absolutely horrible for schools, especially here in Santa Clarita Valley, which not only has some of the best schools in the state, but also collectively is the biggest employer in the Santa Clarita Valley. And so for them to base their budgets on the state budget, which is passed with fantasy money and fairy dust, is just not fair. And I just want an honest accounting. I want to work towards these reforms, some of which are not very popular. But I don't mind being the most unpopular guy up there. That's okay with me.
How do you make that happen when many of your predecessors weren't able to do that?
Well, I would say that if you're looking at who is the heir to the middle-of-the-road throne, if there's such a thing, in terms of Dr. Keith Richmond, in terms of Cameron Smythe. I would say I have more of a claim to that throne than my opponent, who on some days he's independent, on other days he's moderate, and then during the primary he was a Tom McClintock conservative. So depending on which day you catch him, maybe he can lay claim to that throne. But for me, that's kind of where I'm at. You know, I don't have to necessarily run for office. I'm happy being a dad. I'm happy being a business owner. I'm running because I care about this state. I want to get things done. I'm not running around saying I'm going to run against Buck McKeon in 2 years, or that I'm going to be doing things that are just to promote myself. I'd rather get up there, do my best, see what can get done, and not worry about the political consequences.
Okay, good. I wish you the best of luck. I think the state of California needs some leaders. I think we need some good people in the state assembly. I think we need some good people throughout government in the state of California. And it's good to know we have a young, dynamic person, well-educated, well-spoken, who can go out there and compete for the job.
And not afraid to go there and say, you know, this is what we need.
And I'm not afraid of being popular, but I would also say, you know, my wife and I have been together almost 21 years, married for 11. I know how to be bipartisan. I know how to work toward a common goal, not to fight every fight. So, yes, I'm not afraid to be unpopular up there, but at the same time, you know, I can work with the majority party to get things done, whereas my opponent could not.
How many kids do you have?
Well, we had the English Bulldog, Sir Bentley, before we had the actual baby.
Okay.
So he's kind of a senior now, but Narayan, our son, is 16 months old.
16 months?
Yeah, so
Okay.
he's our first. Hopefully we'll have a few more. But that's, you know, we'll see after the election. It's been tough on her.
Very good. Well, thank you for being on the show, Ed.
Well, thank you
We
for having
appreciate
me.
it, and as I said, we wish you luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, and I'd love to be back on.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Patsy, we're going to take a break. When we come back from the break, we're going to tell everybody about all the events that are going on with the Santa Clarita Valley Latino Chamber of Commerce and others that are very exciting and interesting that a lot of people will want to know about and attend.
We have fun and business fun too. We're Bill Miranda, Patsy Ayala, in your show Querer es Poder. You're listening to our hometown station AM 1220 KHTS.